Well, let's continue this discussion now. I'm joined by Pastor McCauley of Rhema Bible Church. Pastor Ray, always a pleasure speaking to you. I believe it was during an interview last year when you indicated that religious leaders play a critical role in providing mental, spiritual and emotional support. Just how much of an impact has this virus had on the church's mental and emotional state?
Well, I think as a whole, it's been a tremendous impact on the religious community in the country. We're battling with this third wave now, especially in Gauteng. And in the past 24 hours, we've had according to my stats, 18,700 tested positive. So it is a crisis time now. And it's not about government, it's not about who's in control or the religious community. It's about coming together as the nation and doing our part in helping suppress this virus.
Yeah. I mean, you speak about how we should even remove the politics away from just the mandate of saving lives. Pastor, if church gatherings were completely banned, how would the church be affected?
Well, of course, it has a tremendous effect on the church. But just imagine we have a large auditorium of over 7,000. If we had a church service now and somebody gave the virus to 150, 200, 300 people, it will be a total crisis. And if somebody passes away, we'd face huge a lot of court cases and stuff that would go on. So it's really, we know it's frustrating. We know how much we would like to open the churches, but we need to realize we're in a crisis right now.
Yeah. I mean, it really is a crisis, and we have to also be able to differentiate between saving lives and the spiritual needs that the people may have. And some people, Pastor, would prefer to be, inside of a church building to get some kind of guidance for their lives. So right now it's all about saving lives, I gather, from your perspective.
Yes, and also that I think it's vitally important to realize that in my column today in the newspaper, I said, put out a challenge to the government to use the religious community in our buildings, our staff, and all that we can mobilize, because it looks like that we're not getting enough people having the vaccination at the moment. It needs to be increased dramatically.
Yeah. When it comes to the role that the church has played, I mean, I remember during the harder lockdown, level 5 lockdown that we experienced last year, one thing that the church was complaining about was we can use the church to distribute food parcels, we can use the church to provide those additional counseling measures and the like. Is there opportunity for government to utilize the church much bigger than what they're doing right now, for the church to play a significant role in the livelihoods and perhaps even alleviating any form of fear that may have been occurred as a result of this pandemic?
Yes, I think there's a much broader role that we can play. We've put the invitation out. I've sent a letter to the president on Friday that we're here, that we're ready to go, but we're also here to help people, to counsel people. One of my staff was saying that the high school that her daughter goes to, a dozen kids now, I've got to check, I haven't had to confirm, but she said her daughter came home crying. A dozen kids committed suicide in that school.
Yeah.
Well, now the crisis.
Yes, Pastor, go ahead.
Sorry.
No, I was just saying that, you were just finishing your thought there around just the crisis.
Yes, so the churches, religious communities, we need to keep our doors open, we need to be available, and we need to be part of what can speed up the vaccinations.
Yeah.
And how to counsel the people that have got the virus is vitally important. I've got some very close family that have got the virus at the moment, so it's spreading everywhere.
Yeah. Just out of interest, Pastor Ray, when you wrote the letter to the president on Friday, have you received any form of a response as yet?
Nothing yet, nothing whatsoever. We kind of feel at the moment that we've been sidelined, but we need to be in the place where we can open our places. We can be part of the solution and not just the problem.
Yeah. I hear you with that, and that could possibly be that churches could be utilized as possible vaccination sites if need be?
Yes, and I think that'll be a very important thing for us to do. And then we can also mobilize our staff, we can mobilize our community and our church members to just be involved in helping wherever we can.
Yeah.
But it needs to be speeded up. This, the dosages and the stuff that the vaccinations, we need that to be really speeded up now. And as the religious community, I think we're all ready to roll up our sleeves and be involved.
I hear you, Pastor Ray. Thank you very much for joining us this evening, Pastor Ray McCauley of Rhema Bible Church. Well,